cross the streams. Ladies and gentlemen, don't cross the streams. That's a bad bit of business. Today is Monday. What is it? The 17th? No, the 18th of May, ladies and gentlemen. Boy, time goes by like lickety-splittery when you're in quarantine. Am I right or am I right? Every day is another fabulous adventure here in the Orange Room. We've done more messing around and resetting up and doing things. We hope you're enjoying the new views, the new sounds, the new sights. Let me go here to make sure that our dashboard is on so I can see where the comments are coming in. The comments, restream chat. Let's see what we got. Paul Schwartz is making poutine. Gary Lopez in the house. Making poutine. actually, that riff is an old tune of mine, but sometimes, I'll tell you what, these Fluence pickups, doggone it, they sound good, and I can use that middle pickup. A lot of times a Strat on the middle pickup is, I'm not going to say unusable, but let's just say it's not the most desirable position. But, old Jim Hendrix, he had a Strat with only a 3-way toggle switch. Now, sometimes he would kind of roger it in those in-between positions, but most of the time live, he was in that middle position when you get that quacky sound. So when you get that quack with meat, now granted, when you got a Strat through a couple Marshalls with JBLs dimed, everything sounds got a whole lot of beef. But these Fishman Fluence pickups, doggone it, all 5 positions of the toggle switch sound super delish. And I was on that middle position that whole time. Yeah. How about some Fishman P90s? John V, we are working on that very thing. We have been voicing what will be my signature Fishman Fluence P90 pickup, which will be coming out before the end of the year. I think we could say it. Ryan, am I right? We can say it. And it's going to also be featured in another edition of a signature guitar from Reverend Guitars that'll have those Fishman P90s in it. So those are coming. Can you dig it? Better sound now, says Larry. Sorry about the vocal mic, Greg. It was my bad. Oh, Ryan, was it off? Is it now on? Yes, you can say it. I like that kind of talk. Tony wants to hear Red House. Are they noiseless, says John V. Yes, these Fishman Fluence pickups are made in such a way that they are noise canceling, shall we say. And so those P90s will have 2 voices, both of which will sound delicious, but they will be noise-free. And then there's also a really cool out-of-phase thing that we did, because I love that Peter Greeny out-of-phase thing. You know, when you turn back, when you got that out-of-phase position in the middle, on a 2 pickup guitar, in the middle position, you put the out-of-phase. A lot of times, on the Peter Green wiring, if you go back on either volume, just a hair, it just turns into a whole other sound. It's like immediately it gets this fatter. It's still got that squawky, quacky out of phase thing, but it's got a little bit more meat to it than the full-on out of phase, so it's just slightly out of phase, if you know what I'm saying. So with these pickups, there will be a little thing inside, a little toggle, or however we're gonna do it, that you can actually roll where you want that phase to be for that middle position. And that'll be a push-pull pot in reality. So it could be regular straight middle position with just a normal combination of both pickups, or it's going to be out of phase and you can set where you want that phase to be. So it can be that sweet spot of where you just go back off on that volume just a little bit when you're in that Peter Green mode. Can you dig it? I thought that was pretty clever. They were able to make that happen for me. Awesome groove from the Koch family unit. Well, thank you very much, Simon. Taylor Wilson says, Greg, if it's not a pain in the arse, the people are correct. That mic could use some stank. All right, well, I think we're going to turn up that mic. Am I right? Are the classic humbuckers and the open cores USB charged as well? They can be. They both can be. It's not, let's just put it this way. My pickup set that are in my signature Reverend guitar, or you can buy the Gristle-Tone pickups, that's the only one where the USB and the lithium-ion batteries is absolutely included. They don't come any other way. All the other pickups, classic humbuckers, open core, classic humbuckers, all that kind of stuff, these pickups, so on and so forth, they come with a 9-volt battery option. It's an upcharge to do the lithium-ion battery. That's why those sets are a little bit less expensive than mine, because they don't come with a lithium-ion battery. So one 9-volt battery with this set would last about 300 hours, okay? Or for an extra like $100 or so, you can get this back panel, which has the mini USB input, and then it's barely thicker than a regular Strat back plate. So as a result, I like doing it this way, because then I have the ability to, oh, what happened to my messages? What happened to my messages? Me. Sorry, I pressed the button. Now I got to see them all afresh again. Anyway, so that's what I like to have. I like to have the lithium-ion battery option, so the USB option, but the only one that it comes with automatically is my set. Okay? Can you dig it? Spider Logan is back again. Greetings from Austin, Texas. I hope everything's well down there. All right, you know, it's another... How's the mic situation? Did we get it figured out, Ryan? Are we good to go? What you have to understand is our buddy Ryan is out in Boston, and he's mixing us from afar. He's actually logged into this computer behind us, and we're obviously in Wauwatosa in the Milwaukee area, and we're doing these sound checks and things from afar. So he's doing an excellent job, and we're just figuring it out on the fly. Always trying different things. I believe we're trying a new plugin on the Vocal Rooney. Vocal sounds good, says Elena. Elena, thank you. All right, vocal sounds good now. All right. Facebook user, I can't see what the name is, but is it legal for a drummer to witness this presentation? Yes, it is. Steve asks, can you install the Fluence on a 335? Where would you put the battery? I'll show you that in a little bit. Actually, I'll do it. I'll just show you that quick right now, just because if I forget about it later. If you can see underneath the pick guard here, there was a custom install. So everything was, if you will, fished through the F-holes, and then the lithium-ion battery input is right underneath the pick guard. So that worked. How groovy is that? And the answer to that is totes. Totes groovy. Am I right? All right. Let's try this one, Dylan. Snow. And everywhere that child went, you know that lamb was sure to go. He followed her to school one day and broke the teacher's rule. What a time did they have, yeah, that day at school. like that. Mary had a little Sasquatch. Mary had a little lamb. And you know what? Her fleece was white as snow. Am I right or am I right? Let's see what kind of questions we have out there in movie land, ladies and gentlemen. Mix sounds great. Excellent job, whoever did the sound. That would be Ryan Fitzsimmons. Ryan, you got a little love there on the Intergoogle from one of our Facebook users. Or no, actually, that is a YouTube comment, ladies and gentlemen. All praise the gristle. I like that kind of talk. What year are the Fishman Strat Pickups based off of, 50s or 60s? And can I put them in a hardtail? You could put them in a hardtail. I'd have to figure out where to put that 9-volt battery under the pickguard, but I think that can happen. The first voice, the one that I'm using mostly, is based on a 54 Strat set. But the second voice, which is unleashed by grabbing this tone control, so we got turn the gain off the amp. By the way, you're hearing, I have my pedals with me today, but everything you're hearing thus far is just the amp, my Koch amplifier, the Greg. So that's kind of the 50s voicing, and if I grab this tone control, pop it up, we get. So it goes. And then. Right? It's cool. It's cool, and I dig it. Let's see. Did you shoot all the bass players? Well, we're not quarantined with any bass players. Okay, Dylan and I are in quarantine. Although one of these days, as things loosen up a bit, we're gonna get Toby down here and do our thing for reals. But for now, it's just Dylan and I doing the duo, the father-son duo of doom here in the Orange Room, and that's all there is to it. Any overdrive pedal? Well, Rodrigo, right now I am not using my overdrive pedal, although I do have my Gristle King in the loop. That's the Gristle King. So what I usually do is use the clean boost and the overdrive on top of that jam? That one made me feel a little, I kind of felt a little dirty with that. That's a song called, that was a version of The Grip, actually. Different version of The Grip. From a tune of mine called The Grip. Actually, the first version of that tune was on a record called Defenestrator. Then towards the end there, we went into this other riff that's a tune that we're working on. What do we call that one? I can't remember what we called it. We started doing that with my buddy Mark Grundhofer, Mark Joseph. We had him do a harmony guitar line to that. I can't remember. Did we call it? It was right before the plague hit, so it was. We had done some gigs, and then pestilence broke out. We all got quarantined, and my brain forgot what that song was called. It was brand new at the time, but good, clean fun. Yes, Patrick. It's The Grip is from the album Defenestrator originally, and then I came out with that compilation that was on Steve Vai's label called The Grip, which was kind of a compilation of all my records up to that point, and some new tracks as well. That was back in 2001. Back in the lofty days of OT1. Personally, I like your tune Spank It. Well, thank you. How much do you memorize and how much do you improvise when you play? Well, when the head, everything is open to interpretation, and certainly in the middle, nothing is planned out. It all just kind of happens. But what you were hearing there, that I was actually using the clean sound of the Koch amp, and I was using my Gristle King overdrive and clean boost pedal, which I've used for years. My buddy Tim Yarning has been making for me for years. We do sell them on my website if you are so inclined. At gregkoch.com. But you got your clean sound, you got your clean boost, and then your overdrive. Set just flat right now. Usually I kind of tweak the overdrive, but everything right now, it's like all the controls are at 1 o'clock for whatever reason. And then I have my handy dandy Neo Instruments ventilator, which sounds great as well. I like that sound as well. Spider Logan asks, any chance of a smaller version of the Greg amplifier? Yes, that is in the works. I could probably give you a little bit more of a status update if it wasn't for the pestilence, because I think I was going to see a prototype sometime before Summer NAMM, but Summer NAMM's not even happening now, so that's been put on the back burns, but at some point there will be a smaller version of the Greg with less features, but delicious tone nonetheless. Everything sounds better at 1 o'clock. Am I right, Robert? Nicely done. Well, maybe it's irrelevant, but I hope we'll see you again live in Greece. Oh man, are you kidding me? I'd love to return to Greece. We had a great time. Did we not have a great time there? I love Greece. He loves Greece, says Dylan. We had a good time. We feasted. Shades of Toby, yes, Tom. When I have the, that's one of the reasons why I haven't, when I always performed with trios without a keyboard player, I would always use some kind of rotating speaker effect, ladies and gentlemen. And the one that I found that I like the best is the Neo Instruments ventilator. And I've got the newer ones, I've got the mini vent, but for me, the one that sounds the best is the old gray one, which is the one I have here. And that's this sound here. So I like the slow version is great. Am I right or am I right? I like that. You know, let's try that. We haven't done the song ever, and I haven't sung the song in years, but you know, when you're on quarantine, you realize, oh, that's right, I have 17 records and like 300 songs. It might be kind of nice to dig some of the old ones out again. Oh, I've had a vent forever. I've used the ventilator for years. The only reason why I haven't been using it is because I got a real organ player in the band. So I haven't been using it. But Dylan actually wanted to start messing around with the pedal board with his drums, of all things. And so I brought my pedal board out, and I got all kinds of kooky stuff on here. I got this vent. I've got my Jam pedals from Greece, as a matter of fact. I got a bunch of their pedals. They made me a custom multi-effect pedal thing, which has a bunch of cool stuff on it. It's got a cool delay on it. Nice analog delay. It's their Delay Llama. Sounds good. It's got a nice Univibe on board. They call theirs the Deja Vu. Machine gun tearing my body all apart. Evil man makes me kill you. Evil man makes you kill me. Evil man, even though we're only 5 days apart. I pick up my axe and fight like a farmer, but your bullet shoot me down. We kind of went to Jimmyville today, ladies and gentlemen. I just hit that damn bar again. The computer goes to sleep, and then when I hit it, I don't see the comments. Now they're back. Yeah, a little machine gun-ish there for you. I couldn't remember it, but kind of. We kind of did it. But that Univibe sound is wicked. I got that little Octavia thing going on here. I can hit that thing. That's it. Michael asks, is that virtual clinic that you were doing this coming Thursday going to be on Facebook available to the public? Yes, it's actually going to, the feed is going to emanate from my Facebook page, 6:30 Central Time this Thursday. It'll be kind of a virtual clinic. I'll also have some links on my social media pages. So it's through Hyde Music, Hal Leonard. Yeah, we'll discuss some of the stuff that's in my books and show some stunts, play some tunes, have a good old time. I can almost smell the Woodstock hippies. Oh, yes. A little bit of patchouli and B.O. Yeah. But not in this room, because I can't stand the smell of patchouli. How about you, Dylan? You like that smell? Patchouli? I'm not into it. He's not into it. Sorry, hippie friends. We're not into the patchools. We're not into the patchools.
It's not the worst smell in the world.
Personally, I love the amps tone and would love to be able to try it one day. Yeah, it's a glorious weapon. Which version of the Deja Vibe are you using? This is probably the iteration from, 5 years ago, whatever that is, from Jam. String gauge on the Strat, it is 10 through 46. Can you dig it? Will you dig it? Stairway Country. I see you. How was your sustain? I think it's pretty good. It was sustaining pretty well. I love that sound. It's so dirty. So anyways, these are the single width pickups from Fishman. I just love them. That's why it's fun for me to play a Strat again. And now that I've been home here on quarantine, I've just been spending a little quality time with the Strat with these pickups, and it sounds damn good. You can kind of do all your various sweet little Strat iterations. At two positions, delish. You know what I'm saying? Oh, where did you get what was the question again about your upside down left-handed jazz hold the way you stick?
I don't know. I go from traditional grip to match grip, and I just kind of do a little flip.
He does a little flip back and forth from tradish to match grip. From tradish to match grip. Can you dig it? I hope that's the question that you were asking. I'm sold on the Fishman pickups. Was a fan of SD. Oh, yes. They sound good. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind these pickups are for reals. And the reason why, it's kind of funny. I've told the story before. I'll tell it again. A buddy of mine who used to be head of marketing, vice president of marketing for Fender years ago when I was doing I used to do a ton of clinics for Fender and appearances and workshops and whatever. For many years, and we had good times. And back then, a guy named Richie Fleetler was at the helm, and Larry Fishman actually approached Richie when sussing out these electric guitar pickups, because obviously Fishman over the years is predominantly an acoustic, concerned with amplifying acoustic instruments. But when they got a hold of this Fluence technology, they knew they had like potentially some revolutionary stuff on their hands here, so they wanted to bring somebody who's used to the electric game, if you will. And they brought Richie in, and then Richie called me up and said, "Hey, Broseph." I don't think he said Broseph, but I'm saying it now. He said Broseph. We have some technology for some new electric guitar pickups. And at first, I was doing tons of stuff for Wildwood and doing all those videos, and that was fun. I was doing a ton of stuff with the band, still doing all the other stuff that I was doing. I really wasn't looking for anything extra to put on my plate. But when you described what the pickups did, I thought this could be the thing I've been looking for, because I've been looking for a pickup that first and foremost sounds magnifico. When you pick it up, you want to play it because it sounds great, and then there's no noise, and has some kind of a second voice to boost the signal. So these pickups did everything in my imaginary realm that I wanted a pickup to do. So it all worked out. All the dots, all the things came together like this. I don't know what this is. It looks like two Vulcans getting it on. But anyway, what? So I was a believer from the get. So the Strat pickups, the single width ones, were the ones we voiced first. I've had this guitar with these pickups in it for, I think, going on 7 years now. And as I said, it makes it fun to play a Strat again. Let me grab the, I'll show my signature set in a minute here that are on the Telly of Doom. My Gristle Master guitar from Reverend. Shouldn't say Telly of Doom because it's actually it's a weaponized instrument of its own right, but it's certainly in the tradition of T-style instruments. But it's just been dialed into a savage beast. Now these pickups, these synchronicity. That's right, Henry. Synchronicity is what it was. Oh yes, I can feel it already. I can feel it down to my plums, as said by a certain someone. Now you'll notice I didn't touch the EQ on the amp. I just plugged this guitar in, and I can go to the neck pickup on this. And it sounds damn good. Now usually if you have a amplifier that's EQ'd for a Fender style single coil instrument, and then you grab something with humbuckers like a 335 and you'd plug it in, usually it would be Mudsville, am I right? And you'd have to do some tweaking, but there would always be this weird frequency thing that you'd have to flush out of your brain before you could thoroughly enjoy the girthy majesty of the humbuckers. But the way that these Fluence are voiced is I can switch from my Gristle Master, which is a Telecaster type of guitar with my pickups on it, to the Strat, to a Les Paul, to a 335 with these Fluence pickups on it, and it just sounds good. It just sounds the way it should. Am I right or am I right? I like it. Eric has a question about the Fishman Strat set. I have had the Gristle Master set on my Telly that I made. Is there any way to mount the power port in a different way, not in the back plate? You mean of the Strat? I think that there might be a way. As I said, they come with the 9-volt option. So if you wanted to do just the 9-volt thing, which is kind of interesting because my buddy Paul Barrere, rest his soul, he loved the Fluence pickups, and when he heard mine, he dug them, and so he put them in his Strat, Paul Barrere from Little Feat, and he loved them. But he didn't like to have to remember to charge the guitar and just wanted to be able to put a battery in and out. So he actually took the lithium battery option out of the equation and just did the 9 volts. So, and I said you get 300 hours plugged in, so that's a pretty long time. So if you wanted to not have it be that way, you can do that too. Does that make sense? The gray Leslie tone pedal, that is my Neo, N-E-O, Instruments ventilator. Right? 9-volt like a Clapton Strat, you are correct. Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, creatures of the Walking Dead night. Well, all right. So that was all on the neck pickup on this glorious guitar. So again, going from a Strat to a 335 on the neck pickup, you'd think that everything would sound really dark and heinous, but no, it sounds glorious because these Fluence pickups are the Bowie arm and made life juicy for one and all. They made life juicy for one and all, Dylan, is what they did. Groove running down the leg. That sounds dirty, Matt. Matt Oliver using some delicious talk. Play Since I've Been Loving You. That's kind of a hard one to do as the duo. There are certain things we can do as a duo, and that one's a hard one. Are there any guitars currently available that have HSH Fluence pickups as stock, or HSS? I know that Kiesel and Ibanez offer guitars that come stock with Fluence sets. I believe there are a few. Maybe Ryan can jump in here. I know that Reverend's going to do some different things as well. I think the new Gil Paris is going to have a set of Fluence on it, although I don't believe it's going to be either HSH or SSH. Although I think there are some other manufacturers that are now doing it. I think Ryan can probably chime in. So look for Ryan's commentary. Can you dig it? That last tune I did was a song called 265. I wrote that. That was actually one of those little triads are kind of fun. This is one of the first instrumental tunes I think I ever wrote. I wrote this one in college, and I wrote it as something to sound kind of like a Hammond B3. So it's in the key of A, and that whole first thing is just harmonizing an A mixolydian scale with triads. So that I slide up to the, always got that A droning. The bass line was. Remember that? That's just like a G triad, F sharp minor, E minor triad, F sharp triad, E minor triad, A7, D triad, A7, B minor down to A. It's kind of fun, so you can harmonize that mixolydian scale with those crazy. Slide in and out. So add some information on the top there if you want to as well. That's a real technical term. Added some information on the top. Can you dig it? Robert Wilson says, I've got a Gil Paris with a regular HSH configuration. Plays superb. That's a nice guitar, is it not? You want a funk groove? We can do that. We certainly can. I'll play this one on Instagram yesterday. Do you know this one, Dylan, well enough to do it? This is a song, kind of a gospel-y thing I wrote. Malford Milligan wrote the words to it, and it was on a record I did called Nation Sack. But this tune was called I Can Win. It's kind of a gospel-y thing, but it's actually written about coffee. Because when I quit coffee for a period of time, and I had it after a long period of time, I felt invigorated and with a sense of, oh my God, I can win. I can win again. What? There is no winning. and win. That's a good little jam. That's kind of fun, that one. Kind of fun for the kids. Holy cats, time has already gone by. Like, I didn't even get to the acoustic today. Well, we could save that for Friday. Some acousticizing. Here after we did all that work, Ryan, to get it set up. Just like that. We're going to do some questions now. I usually end our broadcast with some questions and try to answer. Andy Collins asked, does the hat improve performance? Well, as I've said before, it hides my third eye, which otherwise would look right into your soul and tell you your sins. So just be thankful that I'm wearing the hat, because you don't want me looking there and doing a little house cleaning. Can you dig it? When you're strumming, is your pick as loose as your wrist? Yes, I do use a looser grip when I'm doing funkifications. So I have movement this way with this. Can you see that? I have movement that way as well as the wrist. So when I do more kind of alternate picking stuff, I'll move the pick to be more where that first knuckle is, that middle knuckle is. So. When I go funkification, I loosen it up and then I have a little bit. Well, let me guess, the snare is on. Dylan, damn it! Every day he leaves the snare on, and then when I play, all I hear is a song called My Son's Snare, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways. Patrick McManus says, I'm wearing my beanie in solidarity, and I appreciate that. For those who aren't aware, you can get your own Gristle beanie at gregkoch.com. We got it all, as well as a variety of my instructional materials, which I'll actually be going over Thursday night, 6:30 Central. I'll be doing a broadcast, which I will put on all the various. I'll be doing it for my YouTube page, which is Greg Koch Music. So, or is it just Greg Koch? It's one of those two. You'll see me. You'll see a picture of me, and you'll go, "That's that fella." Yeah. How do you keep the pick from rotating and moving while strumming? I'm a beginner and struggling with this. You know what, Paul? It's just reps. You know, it's just a matter of time. You just kind of come up with things, just like with noise with the left hand. You come with different ways of figuring out how to mitigate the sound, and it just become part of your DNA. So the more you do it, the more you'll just get used to it. I do different things with my pick. A lot of times when I pluck with my thumb and first finger, I'll stash my pick in between my first and middle finger there, and then when I want it, I just go back and forth like this, and I hold it a bunch of different ways. Oh. When I can do it. Can you dig it? Humbucker on a telly neck. Also, any chance we'll hear you with Robin Ford again? That was sick. Christian, I'm hoping that Robin and I do something together at some point down the line. We've talked about it. Although we were going to do something like 3-4 years ago, and it just got lost in the shuffle somehow. So hopefully at some point, once the pestilence has subsided somewhat, that's a mouthful. Hopefully we'll do something. Can you dig it? Do you ever practice scales or licks ever, or pieces of music? Kind of all of the above. I practice different things. Can you show us the riff for Let's Get Sinister? Well, the chords are kind of this cool little So it's a D7 sharp 9, otherwise known as the Jimi Hendrix chord. So I keep that pinky where it's at, that F there, and I move up to that E flat 9, but that F note on the top still there. And then I go down there to that C sharp 11, still keeping that F in the height, top voice. And then I throw in a couple of sus chords. I threw you can voice this as a G over A, and then do an F over G. And there I'm just going up on the G, down on the E. And then I just did a little hammer go. Just kind of doing a backwards rake. Goes to the 4 there. And then it goes minor 4 to a C, C sharp, back to the D. That's a song called Let's Get Sinister. That's on the Koch Marshall Trio record, which came out in 2017 already? Or is it 2018? I can't remember. 2018, right? Can you dig it? Questions? Don't be afraid, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget we'll be back tomorrow doing a live stream on behalf of Wildwood Guitars. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Central. February of 2018. Thank you, Spider. At the very end of that song, Let's Get Sinister, the singer. I'll go to that F over G, and then go. That's kind of an ugly but cool chord. And that is basically like a, well, I guess that would be a C sharp major over G. And then back there. Can you dig it? Favorite tune I wrote. What are the albums to your left? Oh, there's all kinds of things there. Should we take a look? Ladies and gentlemen, well, I have my Cream Goodbye Tour 1968 live in 68. That just came out. Let's see this little sampling of what we got over here for the heck of it. Some of these I brought down. Some of these Dylan may have brought down from my master thing of records. We got Chuck Berry's Greatest Hits. We got Songs in the Key of Life. Oh my God, we got Guitars Falling Down and Busting. We got Apostrophe from Frank Zappa. We have Get Your Yayas Out, the Rolling Stones. We got Deep Purple, in concert. We've got Albert Lee, Speechless. If you don't have this record, if you're a chicken picker or want to learn that hot country guitar style, this record is worth every effort to get. We got Merle Travis, Walkin' the Damn Strings. The mic might be in the way here. We got Al Anderson from NRBQ. EQ. We do have a copy of the Koch Marshall Trio in vinyl. Toby Arrives. This is a good record to have, ladies and gentlemen, at all times. We've got Advanced Finger Picking Guitar Exercise, School of Ragtime, Scott Joplin, Stefan Grossman. Dig it. And then we have the Jimi Hendrix Concerts. Good stuff. That's just a sampling. Sampling of what's over here in record land. Always something. Can you dig it? Of course, the screen went dead. Any guilty pleasure? The screen does weird things to me. The screen goes dark, and when I press it again, it gets rid of all the comments, and then they have to load up again. So just give me a second. How heavy can your signature amp get? Will it get that super grind? I love it all so far. I saw it. It has an extension output for an extension cabinet. Have you ever had the need for an extension cab? Jeff, what I have found is that since I got the head, title of the Albert Lee LP is called Speechless. There's also another one called Gagged But Not Bound. I would get both of those records as quickly as possible. Lately, I've been using, there's a head version of the Koch amp, the Greg. I use that with a 212 bottom. That seems to, I love the 210, but I designed the 210 when I was playing in a regular trio, and it was fine. But then I started playing with Toby and Dylan, who definitely play louder and with more intensity. So as a result, I need a little bit more girth in the pushy department. So I was actually thinking about having the Koch people make me a 100-watt version of the amp. But then I got the head and the 212 cabinet version, and that's fine. That sounds glorious and packs. The 212s are a little bit more efficient speaker, and it just it rattles polyps several counties over, so it fills me with a sense of glee and delight. Can you dig it? Hear my train of comment on that concert. Yes, it is. It's delicious. Mike got quiet again. Sorry, I think I stepped away. That's why. I stepped away from the microphone. Did you find that the Univibe replaces a Leslie adequately, so that you've actually played through both? Paul, I actually like to have both of them. What's interesting is the harmonic vibrato on my amp kind of does it for me if I don't have either a Univibe or the ventilator. I'm fine with just the harmonic vibrato. I'll show you an example. Let's go through a little guided tour here quick. We got a little time, right? It's 5:12. We're all right. Ooh. Sorry, I took a little tumble. So here's the amp vibrato. All right, I want to turn that off. Here's the Univibe version. See how the amp one sounds much more big and natural, but the Univibe still sounds great. Here is the ventilator. Another pedal I really like quite a bit is called the Magnavibe, and this is a pedal that's made by a company called Bigfoot Effects. And it's just got two controls. It's got a rate and depth, I guess. And it's more of like the magnetone vibrato. Sounds good. So different flavors, but as you can hear, if I just left the house with the amp and I'm left with this, we're good. Plus, what's really cool about the amp vibrato is that a lot of times when you grab throbbing, pulsating sounds, when you hit a pedal that's got tremolo or vibrato or something on it, your signal kind of goes down a little bit. You can boost it a little bit on the ventilator, which is cool, but also on the amp, there is a rate, there is a depth, and there's also a volume. So I can actually push it a little bit so that when I hit the vibrato on the amp, my signal goes up just a little bit, which is cool instead of going down. So I dig it. A Bigfoot pedal for a man squatch. You are correct, Michael. You are correct. Well, bless your heart. Thank you very much. Got a copy of Toby Rives on vinyl in the mail. Today is a good day. Oh, excellent. I'm glad that all worked out. How do you dial the EQ on your amps? I've always found it difficult to get a good tone. You know what? What's interesting is if I can get away with just leaving everything at 12 o'clock, that's what I do, and that's what I've done on this amp. So everything right now, it got a little adjusted, but for the most part, it's all the EQ, bass, middle, and trebles at 12 o'clock. And I keep the presence at 12 o'clock as well. What pedal was I using for the upper octave? Aha, that's a good question. So my buddy Tim Yarning, who makes the Gristle King for me, and which is a clean boost and overdrive I used earlier. He's also made me a triple gristle over the years, and we've messed around with the fuzz, and we called the fuzz the F-bomb. The F-bomb 3 was the sweet spot. That was the one that sounded great. But then I wanted the sound of an Octavia. But the thing is, when I get different Octavias, I've had Octafuzz, I've had Chicago Ironworks versions, I've had Roger Mayer versions, I've had, all kinds of different versions of the Octafuzz. But then I said to Tim Yarning, I was like, look, I only use the Octafuzz one way. I want you to make me a pedal where it's set the way I like it, and I just want an on-off switch because it bugs me when I hit the switches, and it's like, why does it sound like an AM radio again? Oh, that's right, because I hit it. So I have it. So we just call it the F up pedal. You get kind of taken away on that doggone thing. F up pedal. Maybe I already have that one on all the time when I'm playing. I dig it. I dig that kind of talk. Hear that? Can you dig it? Well, there you have it, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. It's fun spending some time with y'all today. We spent all the time on the electric guitars today with the Fishman Fluence pickups on board. They sound magnificent. Friday, we'll investigate the acoustics again and have fun with that. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock Central Time here in the US of A. I'll be doing my Wildwood bit on all these channels for the most part. And so check it out. I can dig it. Thanks so much. And again, if you have any questions about any of the instructional material, I do have a wealth of books. I got some books right here. As a matter of fact, I had to go through them today for some of the hell-ended stuff I'm doing. I got the Guitar Clues Operation Pentatonic book, Standard Tuning Slide Guitar. Oh, look at that picture. Is that troubling or what? Guitar Gumbo. And, of course, the latest one, the Brave New Blues Guitar, ladies and gentlemen, with about 3 hours of video material that you can get. There's a code inside that you can download the audio and the video and that kind of sweet stuff. So dig it. Skype lessons available through the site. Gristle King pedals, Fishman Fluence pickups. Someone bought the Fishman Fluence pickups from my website the other day. I thought that was very nice. And of course, my Gristle Master guitar. You can't get through my website, but they're available wherever regular guitars are sold. Didn't even get to that one today. But you've seen that one quite a bit. You'll see it again. Doggone it. Friday. Thanks so much, folks. Have a pleasant week. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you later.